everybody! Alright, in this video I am doing my review on the new superhero show from Netflix, Jupiter's Legacy. Most people I think are going to compare this show, like before watching it, like if you see the trailer, they're gonna compare it to The Boys and Invincible, because those are like, I feel the main superhero shows happening right now in the streaming world. I know there's some on the CW and stuff like that. Personally, I can't compare them to those because I haven't seen them. I know it's shocking because they're super popular, but they might be shows I will be reacting to. So they've kind of been put to the back burner because of it. Let me know in the comments if you want me to react to any of them. I've heard really good things, obviously, of both, but especially of Invincible recently. So I'd be excited to see them. But yeah, when I saw the trailer, I kind of thought more Sky High, the Disney movie, and Young Justice, right? And I do think that they have similar aspects, like Jupiter's Legacy has similar aspects to those shows, but it's definitely moodier, like darker, right? Which I think might be a little bit of the tone that superhero shows are starting to like go towards. But yeah, so I actually quite enjoyed it. There's stuff that I like more than other parts, obviously, but I do look forward to a season 2. If you don't know what the show is about, the show mainly, like generally, it's about this. In this world, for 100 years, this group of people, superheroes, have been taking care of like the world, right? But people know who they are, like basically they're celebrities, right? And now it's gotten to a point where you're following the next generation of superheroes. That's why I thought Sky High and Young Justice, right? The next generation of superheroes, and there's this whole debate of whether the same codes that the main superheroes like follow, that they created in the 1920s, if it still works nowadays, with like when danger has gotten a little bit out of hand, like say like, or like villains or bad people are willing to go to more extreme measures that they used to before. So that's kind of like the main conflict that we have. We have the main family, which is like, you have the Utopia character, which is Sheldon, the Josh Duhamel character. Mainly, if you see him, he resembles Superman with his powers, and he's married to Lady Liberty. So it's this family of like main superheroes, right? And their kids, who we have Chloe, who is a girl that's in the rebellion stage, kind of like she hates people expect her to be a superhero, like that she has no other choice because of this legacy that she has with her family. So she's rebelling against that. And then you have Brandon, who is the complete opposite, who has tried all his life to become the next utopian, which is his father, like his father's mantle, right? It's like he tries so hard to be that, but always kind of falls short of that, right? And then there's an event in the first episode that with him, that's what's kind of like jumpstarts this whole, is this code still working for like now? That's very interesting. I do think that throughout this season, we kind of lose the character of Brandon a little bit in the middle. So this whole debate of like, is the code working or not, falls more into the parents, when I kind of would have liked to have Brandon be more involved in it, right? Because he kind of like starts this whole thing, and then at the end, he gets to a result on himself, but I felt that I didn't see the progression of why he wanted to like make this other decision, like make this decision at the end, like, because I think there's like 2 or 3 episodes we don't even see him, right? They kind of like in the middle, they start focusing more on Chloe, who personally kind of annoys me a little bit. I understand her point. It's just that sometimes those type of characters are a little bit hard for me to like relate to, in the sense that they're just in a destructive path, and I just want people to work together. Which I know is like, I understand like her, where she's coming from, but sometimes it'd be a little bit like, ugh, okay, we're back with Chloe. The thing about Chloe is that she has this other side like story with this other character called Hutch, who I find interesting, like his story, like his legacy I find interesting. And I feel that side story was more of a pre pre prequel, let's say, or like it's setting up fun stuff for season 2. So I was very excited to see more about where that would go, but it never goes anywhere because you clearly are seeing that it's gonna be for like longer in the future. So the potential season 2. But so the show is told in 2 different timelines. You have the present, which with the family dynamic and the kids, and then you have the 1920s, which is where all the first superheroes get their powers. I personally prefer that timeline. I found that one more fun to watch. It was very adventurous. It was like, it felt very epic because it was like this whole mystery surrounding like these powers or like these people. It was like after the Great Depression, so everything was kind of falling apart. So I also really love obviously the costumes and I don't know, like that world I thought was more interesting for me to watch. It just felt more like exciting, and because you know that eventually they get their powers, so like I guess it was kind of a way to be like, oh, like how do they get them, how do like maybe after all the obstacles these people like go through, you know that the end result is going to be awesome, really. So I think that's what it was like. And I find those characters more interesting, like when you see them before they became like this kind of like before they became Utopia or Lady Liberty or Brainwave, like all of this like superheroes that are kind of like basically myths by this point, that they're just too like bigger than themselves. So it's kind of nice to see them in their original state, to say it like that. But yeah, I really enjoyed that part more. I thought that they did that one a little bit better. But I do like the conflict of this whole code situation with and I hope they keep going, like talking about it a little bit more, because I do think that it ended a little bit like abruptly with the decision of Brandon and stuff like that, that I just didn't see his progression. So we'll see how it goes with a potential season 2. But yeah, I mean, special effects are all right. I do enjoy the fightings. Nothing new, really. And there's a lot of moments that there's not much fighting. So that's the thing, right? It's a lot more of a character show of like this debate, and then like there's this overall mystery of like finding out if there's a villain among them, or not maybe among them, but like if this villain that used to be like that disappeared a long time ago, if he's back, kind of like that. So there's this whole mystery, but so there's not much actual fighting except like in the first episode where the event happens, and like a couple of times later on. But so that timeline is a lot darker, I feel, even though the first like the 1920s goes through a big like jump start too, with that it's pretty dark. I do think that because of it's an adventure and all of this stuff, and the end result is fun, it's not as dark as the current timeline, the present timeline. But yeah, honestly, I enjoyed watching it. I thought it was a quick watch. It's not something that is like that new, but it's familiar. And if you enjoy this type of shows, which I do, I think it was fun to watch. It's an easy watch, like I said. I am excited for a potential season 2, so hopefully we'll get that. I thought the acting was pretty good, especially from Josh Duhamel, who he carries a lot of that show, because yeah, they kind of promote the show that it's going to be more about the kids, but not really. Utopian Sheldon, Josh Duhamel character, he carries a lot of that show. So yeah, he does a really good job, I thought. But yeah, let me know in the comments what you guys thought of the show. I think they're based on like books or something like that. So if you have, or like, I don't know if they're comics or books, but if you've read them, let me know what you think of them, if it's a good adaptation, if it's worth maybe just reading the books. I don't know what you thought. Who's your favorite character? If you liked the present storyline or the 1920s storyline more, like, I don't know. Let me know. I want to talk to people about it. And yeah, like you can also find me all over social media, and I have a Patreon, guys, that if you want to know more about it, you can find all the information in the link in the description down below. And that's it. See you next time. Bye.